You don't have to feel confused to be aging your brain. It doesn't start with forgetting names or getting lost or losing your train of thought mid-sentence. Sometimes it starts with the smallest things, everyday habits, little choices, the way you live your mornings, the way you spend your evenings, the way you stop challenging your mind without even realizing it. After 65, your brain doesn't just need rest, it needs rhythm, it needs attention, it needs protection, because the brain never truly stops changing. It keeps rewiring, learning, adapting. Even in your 70s, even in your 80s. But if you repeat the wrong habits, quiet ones, easy ones, you may slowly turn down the lights without ever flipping a switch. In this video, we'll go through 7 common daily habits that may be aging your brain faster than you think. And more importantly, what gentle changes you can make to stay sharp, steady, and mentally strong. You won't need special tools. You won't need to become someone new. Just a few shifts made with intention. Because protecting your brain doesn't take noise, it just takes noticing. Let's begin. Habit number 1, poor sleep or inconsistent sleep patterns. It's easy to think that sleep is just about rest. Close your eyes, wait a few hours, wake up. But for your brain, sleep is something much more important. It's repair, it's organization, it's the time when your brain clears out toxins, strengthens memories, and prepares for tomorrow. After 65, the structure of your sleep naturally changes. You may wake up more often. You may spend less time in deep sleep. But what makes it worse is when your sleep becomes irregular. Going to bed at 10 one night, midnight the next, napping during the day because you feel tired, then staying up too late, waking up at 4 a.m. and reaching for a phone or the TV. Over time, this inconsistency confuses your brain's internal clock, and that can lead to brain fog, slower reaction time, forgetfulness, difficulty focusing, and even increased risk of Alzheimer's disease. One man in his 70s said, "I thought I was just tired from aging, but my doctor said I was getting 5 different kinds of sleep at the wrong times. I wasn't rested, I was just scattered." The good news? You can improve your sleep rhythm without pills or complicated routines. Start by going to bed and waking up at the same time every day. Yes, even on weekends. Avoid screens at least 30 minutes before sleep. And instead of napping too long during the day, take a short walk in natural light. Your brain responds to light into routine. If sleep doesn't come easily, try soft background sounds, gentle breathing exercises, or simply lying still and quiet, training your body to trust bedtime again. Because one night of poor sleep won't harm you, but poor sleep every night might slowly steal more than just your energy. Let's move on to habit number 2. Habit number 2, eating too much sugar or refined carbohydrates. Not just candy, but white bread, pastries, sweetened drinks, breakfast cereals that promise energy, but leave you tired by mid-morning. After 65, your brain becomes more sensitive to what you eat, especially sugar. And here's what many people don't realize. Even if you don't have diabetes, frequent spikes in blood sugar can quietly affect how your brain works. When you eat sugar, your blood glucose rises quickly. Your body responds with insulin, but after the spike comes the crash, and your brain feels it. Suddenly, you're foggy, forgetful, irritable. You may have trouble focusing or even remembering simple things, like where you left your keys or what you just walked into the room to do. Over time, diets high in sugar and refined carbs have been linked to slower thinking, poorer memory, higher risk of dementia, and Alzheimer's disease. One woman in her late 60s shared, "I used to have toast and jam for breakfast. I thought it was light, but by 10 a.m., I couldn't think straight. My doctor suggested oats instead. The difference was like lifting a cloud. You don't have to cut out all sweetness, but you can choose smarter sources. Try replacing white bread with whole grain, sugary cereal with unsweetened oats, cookies with a piece of fruit and nuts, soda with water infused with lemon or mint, and most of all, try to eat with consistency." Your brain loves stability, especially in blood sugar, because every time you feed your brain something nourishing, you're telling it, "You still matter, I still need you. Let's stay sharp together." Let's move on to habit number 3. Habit number 3, not moving enough with your body or your mind. It starts small. You stop going for walks as often. You skip the stairs. You stay in more than you used to. The world outside begins to feel optional. And mentally, you read less. You stop learning new things. You tell the same stories in the same way to the same people, if anyone. But here's what happens when movement disappears. Your muscles begin to weaken. Your balance fades. But your brain also starts to slow down, because movement and mental sharpness are deeply connected. Every time you move your body, especially in simple, intentional ways, you improve blood flow to the brain. You stimulate memory. You spark creativity. And when you stop moving, both physically and mentally, your brain gets the message, I'm not needed as much anymore. One man said, after I retired, I stopped doing almost everything. I thought I was just relaxing, but over time I felt dull, slow. I started doing 15-minute walks, reading again, and I swear I felt more alive. So what can you do? Start small. You don't have to run or lift weights. Walk to the mailbox, do light stretches in the morning, stand up and move during commercials. Take the long way around the kitchen. And for your mind, read something unfamiliar. Try a puzzle. Call someone and really listen to their story. Even writing down your thoughts at the end of the day gives your brain a reason to show up. Because your brain is like a garden. If you stop tending to it, it doesn't die right away. It just grows quiet. Let's move on to habit number 4. Habit number 4. Not connecting with others, even in small ways. You don't have to be completely alone to feel isolated. Sometimes the silence builds slowly. You stop reaching out. You answer fewer calls. You tell yourself you'll visit next week, and then you don't. Days begin to blur. One week turns into another, and the longer you go without conversation, the harder it becomes to start one. But your brain was built for connection, for listening, for laughing, for responding to voices, faces, tone, rhythm. When those things disappear, even gradually, your brain begins to shift. Parts responsible for language, memory, and emotional regulation start to slow down. And over time, isolation can increase your risk of depression, anxiety, and even dementia. One woman said, after my husband passed, I still saw people at the store. I nodded, I smiled, but I didn't really talk to anyone. Months later, I realized I was forgetting words, simple ones. I didn't even notice it at first. But here's the hopeful truth. You don't need a crowd. You don't need to become extroverted or social. Just a few minutes a day of real connection can change the rhythm of your mind. Call a friend, talk to your neighbor, write a letter, join a small group, even if you just listen. Even saying hello in the comment section of this video is a form of reaching out. Because every time your brain engages with another human being, it reminds you you're still part of something. You still matter. And sometimes that's enough to keep your mind awake, alive, and gently moving forward. Let's move on to habit number 5. Habit number 5, not challenging your brain, living on mental autopilot. It happens slowly. You settle into routine. You wake up at the same time, eat the same breakfast, watch the same shows, talk to the same few people, if anyone. And at first it feels comforting, safe, predictable. But your brain thrives on challenge. It wants puzzles. It wants novelty. It wants to stretch, even just a little. When you stop learning new things, stop asking questions, stop engaging with unfamiliar ideas, your brain slowly reduces activity in the areas responsible for growth and memory. It's not dramatic, it's not sudden, but it's steady. And over time, it can lead to cognitive decline. One man said, I was retired, relaxed, and happy, but I started to forget little things. My doctor asked me what the last new thing I learned was, and I didn't have an answer. Challenging your brain doesn't mean going back to school. It means staying curious, reading something new, trying a recipe you've never made, asking questions, learning a new word and using it. Even switching which hand you use for simple tasks can wake up neural pathways. You don't need to change your whole life. Just disrupt the pattern. A little bit every day, Because every time you ask your brain to stretch, you remind it that it still has something to do, something to become, something worth showing up for. Your brain is not done growing unless you tell it to stop. Let's move on to habit number 6. Habit number 6, trying to do too many things at once, multitasking. It used to feel productive, efficient, even necessary. You check your phone while eating. You make a list while someone is talking. You watch TV while scrolling. You half listen, half do, again and again. But after 65, the brain doesn't process like it used to. And when you divide your attention too often, too fast, or too long, your memory pays the price. Your brain was designed for focus, clear, single-task attention. And when you force it to jump constantly between thoughts, you tire it out. It becomes harder to retain new information. You forget why you walked into a room. You misplace things. You zone out in conversations, even ones you care about. One woman said, "I thought I was just busy, but I realized I wasn't really doing anything fully. My mind was always halfway somewhere else." Here's the truth. The brain can switch between tasks, but every time it does, it needs recovery time. And as we age, that recovery time gets longer. So what can you do? Start by doing one thing at a time, on purpose. When you eat, just eat. When you talk, just listen. When you walk, notice the breeze, the sounds, your steps. You'll find that life feels slower, but clearer, and your brain responds with better memory, deeper calm, and stronger presence. It's not about being perfect. It's about being here, fully, because your brain doesn't need to do more. It needs space to do one thing well. Let's move on to the final habit. Habit number 7, ignoring regular health checkups, especially the ones that don't seem urgent. Your brain doesn't live in a bubble. It's connected to everything else happening in your body, your heart, your blood flow, your hearing, your sleep, your hormones, even your teeth. But many people, especially after retirement, begin skipping appointments. They stop checking blood pressure. They forget eye exams. They ignore subtle hearing loss. They assume, "I'm just getting older." And slowly the brain pays for what the body couldn't say out loud. Here's what the research shows. Untreated high blood pressure can shrink brain volume. Poor hearing increases risk of cognitive decline. Sleep apnea silently robs the brain of oxygen at night. Vitamin deficiencies, especially B12 and D, can mimic early dementia symptoms. One man shared, "I thought I was losing my mind. I couldn't remember names. I felt foggy, but it turned out I had low B12 and undiagnosed sleep apnea. It wasn't my brain, it was my body trying to speak." Regular checkups aren't just about problems. They're about patterns, catching small shifts before they become big ones, giving your brain the support it needs through the rest of you. So if you've been delaying appointments, if something feels off but not serious, or if it's been a while since your last full checkup, this is your gentle nudge. Talk to your doctor, check your pressure, ask about sleep, get your hearing tested. It's not weakness, it's wisdom, because your brain is not separate from your health. It reflects it. And sometimes the kindest thing you can do for your mind is take care of the rest of you. Let's take a moment now to reflect on everything we've learned. Now you know, your brain doesn't suddenly grow old. It changes little by little, through choices, through rhythms, through the quiet habits we repeat without thinking. Let's take a moment to remember the 7 daily habits that may be aging your brain after 65. Lack of quality sleep or inconsistent rest. Too much sugar, too often. Not moving your body or your mind. Withdrawing from others, even without meaning to. Living on mental autopilot, without learning new things. Trying to do too many things at once. And ignoring the gentle signals your body sends. Signals that your brain depends on. But none of this is about guilt. It's about noticing and choosing. One small change at a time. You don't need a new brain. You need a bit more light, a bit more care, and a few new moments of challenge, movement, and connection. Because your brain is still listening, still growing, still waiting for you to show up. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Are there any of these habits you've noticed in your life? Which one do you want to shift, even just a little? And where are you watching from? How old are you? Leave a comment below. We read everyone, And your words, your experience, may help someone else begin again too. If you found this video comforting or helpful, please consider subscribing. We share gentle, thoughtful videos each week for those who want to age with clarity, kindness, and calm strength. Thank you for being here. And until next time, be patient with your mind. It's still growing even now.